fighting the
You talking about like Sonic the Hedgehog blue?
Yeah.
You talking that thing?
I was thinking one shade lighter.
That blue look good
Right there.
This?
Yeah.
My name is Michael Mucker, but I am known in this city now as Old School. You know, it's funny because I was talking to a good brother, a good friend of mine named Joe Love III, who goes by Dojo. I was talking to him at the last time we had an art show. Instead of them putting Michael Mucker in the information, they put Old School in the information. You know, so it's like, since I've been here in the city, I've lost my identity as Michael Mucker and I've gained a new one as Old School. And so I have to tell the story every now and then on how I got the name. And it was kind of funny. I was down in Columbia and I was in the middle of a fight. Me and this guy was about to fight. And I turned around and said, man, I'm so old school, I'll kick your ass and take you for ice cream afterwards. And everybody just busted out laughing. They was like, holy shit. Oh man, it's so crazy. I ain't never heard no shit like that before in my life. And it kind of deflated the dude. And he turned around and he was like, well, what kind of ice cream can I get after the fight? And the name kind of stuck from that point. Right, that's what I was like. I was like, really? So now you want to know what kind of ice? Man, get out of my face, man. You ain't even worth fighting. But it was funny to me, you know, so I kind of laughed it off. And the name kind of stuck. Yeah, I guess.
Don't mess with him. That's Old School. He'll take you out for ice cream.
Yeah. Originally, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I've been a traveler. Oh, wow. Up and down the East Coast, been to Africa, been to Germany, Saudi Arabia. I was in the military, you know, so I was able to bounce around a little bit. I've been in Nashville now for 18 years. Yeah. I said that to somebody else the other day, and they was like, man, you're from here. You've been here long enough. You're from here now. I'm like, no. I mean, it's a cool city. It's just not home. Wow. There's a few. I don't try to. Me personally, I don't try to stick with one. I try to treat my art like Bruce Lee treated his kung fu style, like fluid. You know, but of all of the artists who I had to say had that fluidity in their work all the time that I try to emulate in some of mine is Ernie Barnes. Ernie Barnes is definitely one of my biggest influences. His main style was oils, and he did a lot of oil work. As a matter of fact, I think one of the last big pieces that he did and he was known for was the mural he did in Kanye West's house. He did it right in the opening of the foyer area. It was dope. Wow. Well, going right back to what we just discussed, I used to watch Good Times all the time. And so JJ I felt like JJ to a point. So I got into art because JJ was painting in the projects. I was like, wow, if he could do it, I could do it. And then in the process of watching JJ do these paintings, I figured out that JJ wasn't the one doing the paintings and that it was Ernie Barnes doing the paintings. And when I found that out, because I saw the name at the end of the credits when I was actually paying attention, I got mad because, I was a literal kid. So I was like, he ain't even doing the paintings. I've been lied to all this time. And so I quit watching Good Times at that point.
Growing up too fast.
Yeah. And so, it introduced me from there. It introduced me to, John Biggers, who's a big, African-American mural artist. It also introduced me to Aaron Douglas, Greg Ridley, because I tell everybody, I'm surrounded by art all the time. This house used to be Greg Ridley's house. Greg Ridley was a pivotal black artist in the city, because he taught at Fisk and at TSU. Yes, I knew him. I didn't know him super personally, but he used to shop at the art store downtown that I used to work at. So shout out to Plaza. So I used to carry his stuff. He would come in with a basket. Come here, Greg, let me get that. And I'd walk around and pretty much be his personal shopping cart. In order to learn, in order to be a master, you have to learn from one. In order to be a man, you have to learn from a man. So through the process, I met Greg Ridley, I met Michael McBride, I met James Thrillkill, I met Marvin Posey. All four of those are black artists in the city that have done some amazing work. So I wanted to be not necessarily in their shadow, but I wanted to be able to say, hey, I know those guys because we're brothers in paint. Wow. A lot of content and emotion immediately. I say that because there's two pieces that I can see out of my peripheral, which is the puppet piece that's hanging in the hallway and the piece here that represents my mother. You know, so the story behind these two. I mean, yes, visually, there's a lot of things going on in them which will pull most people in, which that's something that James taught me. He said that if you have your work hanging at an art show, if you can get a person to stop at your work for 15 seconds, you'll create a crowd. From that's one of the things that I've always thought about as I develop my work. What can I do to make a person stop to be curious about what's in it? And as long as I'm able to do that, then I always feel like the artwork is going to be self-explanatory and it's going to keep people, just make them interested and intrigued. My art, I make my art specifically to be conversation pieces. You know, so any art collector who has artwork they love to talk about the work that they have. You know, because one, they find something personally in themselves. So most people like talking about themselves, which is crazy because, you know, when I talk about this, you know, I remember when I got into this back in the mid 90s, and I hated tattoo. I said I would never do it again. Here I am, almost 3 years in it. Well, me personally, I don't think I was ready for the amount of pressure that is put on a person. This tattoo industry is something altogether different, and I never would have expected some of the things that you deal with on a daily basis. It's wild, you know. So you know you got to keep your head straight and you got to stay focused. You know, so my focus right now is mainly all the art.
I mean, because, you know, I get this hot pink now. Look, it's the hot pink. Look at this. Look at this. This is a manly color right here.
I think so.
No, this is lipstick color.